well, hold on. We went to all the trouble. We had the logo made. We named the show. I based it all around that hat in the logo, and now you show up looking like I want to make it. I want to say Elmer Fudd, but I know that's the
What?
wrong pop culture reference. Who wore that kind of hat in pop culture?
I don't know.
Oh,
That's what I was wondering.
It was one of the kids from Fat Albert.
Okay, good.
The
That was going to be my
OBKD?
question. Was am I able to switch hats? Is it any hat, or does this throw it off too much? And you answered my question. Thank you very much.
So that makes me wonder: is there an official two dudes wearing hats
We're good
hat?
now. No, it's fine
A
now.
dude
I've got
hat?
mine. You got yours. Yours isn't red though. Let's talk about that.
Well, yours isn't gray either.
It was last week, wasn't it?
I don't.
I wore the actual hat.
You say that like I remember last week.
I can go get it. It's over there, but I really don't
You're
want
fine.
to.
You've gotten up from that chair way
No,
too
I
much
don't
in the
want
last
to.
20 minutes.
I've what?
Full disclosure, pulling the curtain back here for a minute. Part of what we do before we go live is set things up. So sometimes when we get together right before we hit the button to go live and start talking to people and do the recording and all those things, we might still be setting things up. And a lot of that is you creating your background. I usually just go stock my pretty tie-dye cooler. That's usually the reason I need to run away from my seat.
Yeah.
Yours is usually to create the background.
In the future, will have a wall of my scarves, but temporarily, I'm just setting up a backdrop, if you will. Yes, a photography studio backdrop.
Have you
And
thought
then
about the arrangement of the scarves? Are you going to go vertical or horizontal?
it depends on the scarf. And a lot of them will be like folded in half, and it depends on. They might need to be rotated at times too, because some of them are very important on two sides. Or it depends on like some of them are. Some scarves are loyalties and allegiances to either a club or the group of people that I'm associated with in the fan base, like the supporter groups. And some of them celebrate certain matches, like when maybe Crystal Palace came to town to take on FC Cincinnati, or Valencia comes to town, they'll make a special scarf. Or what do I have up here? I have this scarf right here. This was actually, there aren't many of these. This was given out on the evening that Cincinnati was named to MLS and given our MLS team. These were given out to some very special people, and I got lucky and acquired one. And then that's a Pride Month scarf there. This is a Queen City Warpig scarf that happens to look like Mass Effect, and they did in the theme of Mass Effect, which is my favorite game. So anyway, there's all kinds. Here's Hell is Real, which we had with Columbus this week, so you can see it's a little more hardcore. That's the Hell is Real scarf.
That is very intense.
Yeah. You can tell which scarves were designed by hardcore guys and tattoo artists and stuff like that. And
If I asked you right now,
yes.
you grab you. I hate using this hypothetical. Let's not say fire. Let's say your house is collapsing into a science fiction vortex. You can only grab one scarf. I don't want to wish fire on anybody. So scientific vortex, like black hole opens up in your house, sucking up your house. You get one scarf to grab. Which scarf are you grabbing?
Only one?
One scarf.
Oh, it's...
Is this like picking your favorite child?
It might be a scarf that I got before I was a soccer supporter. My grandmother, for Christmas one year, got me an Ireland rugby scarf. I don't know if she knew it was Ireland rugby. It just says Ireland, and it's green, and it's a heavy-duty, beautiful scarf. I think because of the gift and because it might be the first scarf I ever owned that was a non-scarf. It's not a scarf from the Gap.
It's not just to keep you warm.
Yeah. This
it
scarf
has some
says
sort
something.
of significance.
This is advertising. Yeah.
Okay.
They're nice because you can wear them and advertise. Wear them, advertise. It's like the spinny board.
That's my whole outfit, essentially. I literally get dressed for the show.
Yeah.
With advertising. case in point, curtain pullback moment again. I'll go through and tag the companies that I'm wearing.
Yep.
When I post like pictures or clips or whatever. So no, it's all about a lot of what's cool about clothing and scarves and things like that is representing this hat, Cincy hat, thecincyhat.com. This is Ted Karras.
Like we could get a 2 dudes wearing hats scarf made. I mean, we go through one of these companies like Global Scarves. No. Can you picture when it hangs around your neck if one side was my hat and one side was your hat?
But then we make a smaller one.
Yeah.
For your hat.
A scarf a hat scarf.
A hat scarf. And no, wait, a scarf hat.
You made it look like you were almost like Hasidic.
That's what I'm thinking. Like it comes over like this, almost like the little twisty things.
Curls.
And then
they're curls.
You've got a second one here, almost like the Pope vestments. Yeah.
There's no way you don't wear that out somewhere and someone doesn't think you are a part of a very odd religion. Like there's no
a scarf covered in hats.
A scarf covered in
a scarf.
No,
covered
a hat
in
covered in scarves.
No, because it's a scarf.
It's a little scarf
covered in hats.
Oh, but I thought you were talking about the little scarf that was on the hat.
But then there's a smaller one that goes on your hat.
I hate my life.
So you have your own scarf.
I tell people hats. You should watch the podcast. They tune in, and this is what they see.
No, this is the.
I don't have my bourbon. God.
This is watching like how they make the Marvel movie. This is Robert Downey Jr. standing in a gray room somewhere, just going.
This is the furthest thing from Robert Downey Jr.
I'm the furthest thing from Robert Downey Jr. That's for damn sure.
What are you drinking?
So I actually got started without you. Normally you're the first one to pour. Which means
look at you.
I'm going to give you a moment.
You got a big cube as well.
I changed it up. Normally I drink every single bit of liquor on this show neat. I don't normally put ice in my whiskey.
Yeah.
Today, this whiskey I believe I like more with ice in it. I saw somebody online the other day giving somebody shit for drinking their whiskey with ice, and if anybody watching this is going to do that, go argue with the wall. But this is delicious with ice.
Certain ones are much better,
but I've
with a little bit of water or a little bit of ice. Oh, you have a cube.
I've got the big cube. I've got the little mold downstairs that I fill and put in the freezer, and it makes like the nice little cubes.
Why don't you, while I grab my bourbon, tell them the quick story of the fun way that we used to go about making cubes?
Oh, good Lord. Yeah,
and you know what? It's a great way to do it. If you want to make your own crystal clear ice at home, here is an industry
secret time. Pulling the curtain back for making your own clarified ice in a really quick way.
Your ice while I get bourbon.
Get a cooler. Just get any Igloo cooler. Could you use a foam one? Probably, but you should probably go get like a plastic reusable one that you're going to use over and over and over again. You're going to fill that with water, and then you're going to let that freeze. When that's freezing, you are going to be making sure that you watch it. You want to make sure it gets to that point where it's frozen and separated. Once it's separated, you're actually going to take it out, flip it over. When you flip it over, you're going to see all the white stuff is going to be on the top, and there's going to be clear ice on the bottom. What you want to do is chip off all of that impure, not clear ice. So you're actually going to go in there and you're going to take all of that off. You're going to chip all of that ice off. You're going to make sure all of that white is gone, and then you're going to have that crystal clear ice. You see how mine has white in there? That is actually the impurities, all the stuff that's in water that's not water.
And it'll all fall to the bottom. Yeah, and it'll look layered, like a good layered shot.
So you flip it out of the cooler, all the white is on top. So then you just get a little chisel, a little hammer, and you just chisel straight across, take it all off. Take like a warm...
It's a good way to do it if you're having a party.
We used to take a warm water and a pizza spatula and just rub it across the top, to get the top smooth.
Yeah,
that way that top gets nice and glossy and flat.
Yep. All right. So which bourbon are you going with?
So tonight I went with, and because it goes with the ice, this is Russell's Reserve 10-year. This is a bottle that my wife got me to celebrate something. I actually got a new job, and
nice.
She got this as like a congratulations thing. It's one of my favorite bottles. I love everything Jimmy Russell's put together. Wild Turkey Russell products are fantastic. And I've got it in this cup. This is actually my roaming man glass. It's just a whiskey company out of Gatlinburg. You buy a cocktail from the little bar they have there, and they give you a free, really cool
nice
glass.
I'm going back with the golf theme from my grandfather's collection that I took in certain glasses. I figured the etched glass from Augusta National Golf Course.
There you go.
Augusta National Golf Club. That would be a good one. And you know what? I can't get away from it. I need at least one more week of this just because I honestly thought about going to get something else. But number one, I have so much in the bottle. And number two, I forgot how great it is. If you get a chance to have it and you see it, get it with like one ice cube or a little bit of water, or put the ice on the side. But Four Roses single barrel. I used to think I enjoyed the small batch more, and I don't know. I love all their stuff, but the Four Roses single barrel, it's just fantastic. So if you're looking for a bourbon, great gift bourbon as well, you can surprise somebody with, because it's a pretty bottle.
That is a very, very pretty bottle.
And that's a pretty color of bourbon right there. That's a single barrel color right there. Yeah.
Good aged bourbon, that nice dark brown.
Yeah.
I got a bottle of Mellow Corn downstairs.
Mellow Corn.
And it's funny seeing the like bright yellow pissness of its color palette compared to something like a Russell's or a Basil Hayden or something like that.
I was amazed recently at how light of a color some Irish whiskey that I loved is, but it is much lighter. I mean, of course, you're not going with the barrel, and here we go we're not going on. Well, we're just running with topics I didn't expect to talk about. Where's the ticker? Is it here?
It's under you.
It's under me?
There. It's right there.
Right there?
Yeah, it's under both of us.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We have new things, and I don't know where they are.
Right now, it's talking about Parlor Donuts, and it's open to its first ever Cincinnati store in Anderson Township.
Yeah. If you're in our area, here's some stuff for you.
I figued out how to make the ticker play a bunch of food news. There you go.
Yeah, it's not about us, but that might interest you more.
There you go.
If you're sick of us, look at the bottom of the screen. Just look down for a minute.
It shows our topics, but then it also does that in periodically in between those things.
Fantastic. What are our topics?
Well, you were literally in the middle of a sentence, and then you were talking about something. Irish whiskey.
Oh yeah,
barrels.
just thought it was lighter. That's about it.
Okay. Well, a lot of them have those names like Redbreast and things like that.
Redbreast is fantastic. If you get a chance,
that's
Redbreast 12 year.
That's the one you got me hip to. You turned me on the Redbreast 12.
That was turned on to me by a guy that I was turned on to that by a guy. Actually, when we first opened the first, do you remember Rich?
Do I remember Rich?
Yeah. If I said Rich, he was with the other bourbon bar at the very beginning as one of the guys behind it. But I will never forget that I went in there and I went, "Oh, you guys have other whiskeys too?" And he said, "Yeah. What would you like?" I was like, "I don't know. Give me a good Irish whiskey." And he grabbed this bottle and he said, "Jameson sits up at night and weeps because it will never taste as good as Redbreast."
Jeez.
Yeah. And that's how I was first introduced to Redbreast. I still like Jameson, but it's definitely a shooter as opposed to a sipper like Redbreast can be. But I always will tell people, too, if you see both of them, there will be a 12-year, there will be a 15-year. 12-year it's phenomenal. It's night and day difference.
Would you say, I wouldn't say Redbreast is the Pappy Van Winkle of Irish whiskeys.
No. It's the Eagle Rare. Oh. It's the
Elmer T. Lee.
Yeah, it's a
little niche. It's a little niche.
Yeah, it's not the hardest to find. I mean, well, I don't know. We are fortunate to have some very crazy big luxury liquor stores near us and whatnot.
We also were lucky to work at a whiskey bar that had
hundreds.
What's the phrase that I'm looking
plethora?
For? It was a plethora. It was an embarrassment of riches. That's what I was looking for.
Ah, there you go.
An embarrassment of riches when it came to whiskey. You and I used to have so many bottles come through that we would just be like, "Hey," boss would say, "You guys want to try this? It's this super rare whiskey that people are like fighting and punching each other in the butthole over." People get at liquor stores.
People would always come in and go, "Oh my God, they got a bottle of that Pappy," and I'm like, we've got backups upstairs.
Yeah, we got like 10 of each. We got 10 of each of them. Like,
you should see what's upstairs.
we're one of the few places that gets a case.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Oh man,
which was what would be
good
wild
old.
to see.
One of my favorite stories about that was there was a time period when we first opened, and how long after did you come in?
I was about a year and a half in.
Okay, we opened in 2012. I was there staining the handrail right before we opened. I remember, and
actually, I wasn't even a year in.
Weren't a year?
It was about a year into them being open.
I figured, yeah, you weren't. It wasn't that long for you, but there would be a thing where if you finished the bottle, it was decided that, hey, you get the last drink out of the bottle. There you go. I'll give you the bottle, and there you go. Here's the bag to go with it. And then the owners found out that people can move those bottles online empty for $30-$40 apparently.
Crazy amount.
It's just silly.
People would pay. Don't short sell it. A couple of those bottles would go. You could sell a Pappy bottle for $250.
Yeah. Oh easily. Yeah. So eventually we started keeping the bottles, and we would send them back to the home city of the place, which is in Kentucky. And then I remember that one Christmas, our Christmas party, we were down there at the warehouse, and we see all the bottles. And the owners had the idea, let's empty them all, because there's a little bit in each one, like a tiny drop
in every single one of those bottles.
And we had probably, oh God, I don't know how many, multiple cases of empty Pappy bottles that we're just dumping into one glass and passing around and sipping on. And
15-20 people.
Yeah.
This is pre-COVID,
This is what started COVID.
This is probably where that was born.
Some of that 15 proof had to have burned it, or that 12
That's
year.
why we were never scared, because we're
off.
drinking 120 proof whiskey.
Yeah.
And meh.
When
gallons of beer.
When Elijah Craig's Single Barrel came out, I was pretty sure that was when I was gonna need to have a discussion about my liver, because we were having, at the end of our evenings, there's no reason to drink something 120 something proof at the end of the night as you're about to clean up.
There's always, and this is, if you've ever worked in the service industry in a bar, there's always the end of the night shot between the bartenders. There's certain bars that don't do it. There are certain bars that exist. I've worked at one that didn't let the bartenders drink even after shift, after close. You could buy yourself a beer if you wanted to for after you were done, but there wasn't shift
and then there was sometimes our location across the river, if I recall, it got instituted at midnight on the dot, the bartenders stopped and did a shot and then went back into it. And that was one for us.
Yeah, it became that way for midnight, and then it became that way for midnight, and then 1, and then 1:30.
Yeah, and then at the end of the night, the people who weren't even smokers went out and had a cigarette, and we sat in one big, huge circle, decompressed. You bitch about what happened.
20 to 25 minutes of, as soon as the last patron would leave, we'd lock the doors. If there was egregious things like puke or an empty pizza box, we would take care of that real quick.
Yeah.
But then we would all go outside. And as you said, the whole point of going outside was that decompress. It was because you got to think, the bar that we worked at would have about 2 bartenders upstairs, a bartender on the patio bar, and then a bar back running between those.
The first bar?
2 people.
Or the second one?
The Kentucky one.
Okay, the Kentucky one. I was going to say, because the Ohio one, I remember times we were putting 4 people behind the bar upstairs.
Yeah, there's many times we put 4 people behind the stick up there, and
do you remember?
Even then, that wouldn't be enough, because the way you walk in to the most narrow space that went left and right.
Yep.
So people just would walk in and step to the left or right like a foot and just stand in line for a drink. So you would walk behind the bar and you would see 4 bartenders and about 12 lines.
We could do this
people
all
waiting
night
for drinks.
We could do this all night. I have some great stories.
Go for it.
Oh, a story from the bar?
Well, just thinking about the idea.
Fecal matter. Fecal matter. That's my story.
That's always a great segue. Hey, by the way, poop.
Okay. So what had happened was, if you recall that bar that we're talking about, you come up the stairs and you're right at the corner of the bar.
Kentucky or Ohio?
Kentucky.
Okay.
And right across from that corner of the bar is the bathroom.
Right.
There's this group of girls. They're out for a night. Ooh, girl, we're going to have a good time. Get me some of those pixie sticks. I remember this tone of voice because it sells the punchline that made me almost piss my pants to the point I had to go upstairs and use the bathroom. I will never forget. This was the closest laughing ever made me to literally peeing my own pants.
Mm-hmm.
And one of this girl's friends goes in that bathroom, and she's in there for a while. And when she comes out, there is an aroma. And she goes and sits down quietly, and she's back with her friends, and then they come out to do the checks, and they're leaving, and they pass that door. And her friend immediately goes, "Ooh, girl, it smelled like fecal matter in here." And
she went scientific.
Oh my God. I about pissed my pants. Ooh, girl, it smelled like fecal matter. And it made me so happy and laugh so much. That was one of my favorites. Anytime Clint, our buddy, would go in the bathroom to clean, we would pile all the bar stools in front of the door.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Put all the bar stools in front of the door. There'd be several times where we would move all the chairs in front of the stairwell.
Yep.
When someone would go upstairs, just to kind of mess with them as well. Because the way the stairwell was built, you can't jump over the stairs or the chairs. Somebody's got to move them for you.
I'll also never forget that I had so many odd questions in that place, or the best when it comes to, there's a guy there for his birthday. He's a little hammered. We were in a bar district. There's lots of bars around. I think maybe 10 in a 2-block area.
Yeah.
We would see people in the evening that were already pretty done.
And there's 3 doors. Somebody could walk in and already be like...
Yeah. You show up with a group and you keep your group out on the patio, and then you come in, you order 13 drinks, and we're like, this is suspicious.
Well, even if they don't get served a drink, like they could get in the door, up the stairs, up to the bartender before anybody notices, oh, you're hammered.
Yeah. So a guy comes in and says, "Oh, you have Pappy. It's my buddy's birthday." Or maybe it was a bachelor party.
Oh, God.
Do you remember this guy? He was drunk outside in the smoking area and came in? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm there, and you might have been bar backing at that, but anyway.
Oh, yeah, I was right behind you when this happened.
And the guy is writing down and filling out his tab to pay out, and his buddy comes in and says, "What's this?" And his friend says, "I bought you
something in like
special."
A bolt of lightning.
Yeah, like out of nowhere. "What is this?" "Something special I bought you." And he just immediately went bam and slammed $120 worth of whiskey like it was nothing. Yeah. His friend took him outside and then all of a sudden yelled at him. And that guy came back into the bar and went, "I want to apologize for disrespecting bourbon in your bar." And I was like, "Did your friend tell you to say that?" "Yeah, I had to say that or he wouldn't take me home."
He would? He was gonna leave.
He was gonna just leave him. I'm glad he didn't leave him. I didn't want to deal with that. Oh man.
There was always a lot of interbar politics. I don't want to say politics. Interactions where
snowball fights were the best.
Snowball fights. Sometimes we would take things from other bars.
Yep.
Not in a malicious way. Not like we're gonna steal this, but they knew it. Like we would take something off of their bar that was a decoration.
What did you steal from them? $250.
No, right. No, it'd be like, here's the plastic shark that they had on top of their drink caddy the other night for funsies, and then we have it purposely sitting in our bar, or vice versa, and or just little trinkets and things like that. Nothing malicious, but also the idea of whoever closes first goes to the other.
Oh yeah.
Knocks on a window, a door, something super late at night to do shots.
Yep. That's always the problem. Is it's hard to go wherever you want to go when you're leaving where you work, and there's always a bar in between you and wherever you're going, and the people in there know you and will call you in. It could be anybody. Down this street on the right, We've got
And
another
you're
bourbon
walking
bar.
around with hundreds of dollars
Yeah,
in your pocket. Like
yeah.
you
It's
literally
never
have
comfortable.
a ton of cash on you at the time.
We'd get called into Strauss by Kyle. Rest in peace, buddy.
R.I.P.
Like,
bro.
yeah, yeah. That place was always some of the that was where all the ending of the drinking would happen.
Every time I walked in the door, I would get yelled at because
Why?
one of two things would
Oh,
happen.
uh-oh.
Either Mama would look at me and say, "You're really drunk. You need to go home, or Kelly's going to be really, really mad at you."
Yeah.
And the bartender we all referred to as Mama, she was
I
the
saw her this
mother
weekend as
of the
well.
bartending scene, and literally would take care of everybody. Or another bartender would always yell at me, "Hey, Mike, you want to do a magic trick?" And she would immediately look at somebody at the bar and go, watch this, pour a Guinness."
Oh, the Guinness.
Because you and
Oh, we were supposed to do that this week.
we didn't get Guinness. We still have to do that sometime
next
on the
week.
show. So
Next week, Guinness chugs, or do we save it for like St. Patty's?
it's going to be the thing we keep forgetting about every week until it
St.
eventually
Patty's.
happens. But we're pour an entire pint of Guinness and
Yep.
take it down in one swig. Not one drink that's multiple gulps.
It's the only thing I can do it with.
Gone. It's the easiest thing to do it with.
Yeah, it's the only thing I can do it with.
It's liquid chocolate air. So
Yep.
we talked about the past. We talked about the bar. What have you been
bar.
playing?
Right now, I have been a little bit of Zelda, but WWE came out with a fantastic new DLC that's kind of made me come back, and just my universe is like a living little ant farm. It's like perfectly like I did all the things. I read these tips online on how to create your universe and make it more realistic. And like from the start, you go in and you select each guy and you go in and remove all of their rivals. Let them develop the rivalries new, and you won't get the same matchups over and over again. And it's this whole little living that every now and then I'll manipulate, jump in, like, "Ooh, there's a good match. I want that to happen." Or we'll wait, we'll cash in here. But the pack that they released is called the Global Superstars pack, and it was Jade Cargill. Yeah,
Real catchy name.
Yeah. Well, it's got a lot of international flavor. It's got,
really?
Yeah, Lyra
Lyra
Valkyria.
Lyra Valkyria. She's got one of those names the announcer's going to have a lot of fun
Yeah, right.
saying, because it's got a lot of bounce. The Lyra Valkyria. Like you can go, you can go up and down a lot of
Lyra,
syllables.
it's Jade Cargill, it's Nia Jax, it's Carlito, it's Dragon Lee. It's a lot lot of good ones.
That is really global. You are really kind of
going
going all over
Kairi
the planet with that one.
Kairi Sane.
What are your thoughts on?
Now you get the Kabuki Warriors and you get Jade and Bianca as a tag team on there. When you just said something about announcer, real quick, by the way, and this just we won't do a lot of wrestling, but for people, Joe Tessitore, what do you think? I'm pretty impressed, actually.
I don't like it.
I'm impressed more than I thought I was going to be.
I don't like it.
He's in.
I want Pat McAfee back on. Well, he would go to SmackDown, but I wish
Pat will come back. It's not like he got released. Pat will come back.
Because isn't it Joe Tessitore and
Wade Barrett?
Wade Barrett, yeah.
Yeah.
I like Wade Barrett. I think the only thing though is Wade Barrett has a real problem with his voice doesn't do everything awesome. Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase this. Nigel McGuinness is middle of the road British accent. He's not like super high pitched like what's the Zack Sabre Jr. guy,
There's
and he's not super down here like Wade Barrett.
Northern British. There's Cockney. There's different.
Medium.
Yeah.
Wade Barrett's always down here. He's always down. He's like the fucking Billy Butcher guy on The Boys. Do you ever watch The Boys?
I haven't watched The Boys.
So the big thing about The Boys is Billy Butcher played by doesn't matter.
No idea.
But Billy Butcher, he's this British character, and like his voice is like he's very oi home. His enemy's named Homelander, and the joke everyone makes is he always says oi Homelander stole me son, and he's got this like really deep British accent. That's kind of like where Wade Barrett is. I say that because recently for what was the German show? The German event they just did in WWE.
Oh, Bash in Berlin.
Bash in Berlin. The theme song for that show was from a combination of two bands. It was Electric Callboy and Baby Metal. The song is called Ratatata.
I love Baby Metal.
In the middle of it, they go Ratatata. My daughter loves that band. That band is fantastic. And the band that they're with in that song, Electric Callboy, I fucking love that band.
I'll have to check it out.
They mixed together for that song. But hearing him announce the song, it literally, because they had the promo, thank you to this band for giving us the song for the pay-per-view. So literally, you've got Wade Barrett going, thank you to Electric Callboy and Baby Metal for Ratatata off of their album Ratatata available. It's just hearing his like choppy James Bond villain-ass voice doing this promo about the song was one of the best things I had heard in forever. Yes, I agree with the chat. You need to watch The Boys. And somebody in the chat could answer this. Who plays Billy Butcher? Brendon will know the actor. I can't think of it. Who plays Billy Butcher?
I probably don't know, but we'll find out.
He's in a lot of stuff. Sean something, I think.
Spears. Stasiak.
Bill.
Michaels. Goldberg.
Might be Robert.
Roode.
Robert Roode. It's Robert Roode.
I'm just naming any wrestler I can.
No.
So, didn't you... okay, The Boys is more like superhero, like supernatural, right?
Yeah, well, no, it's not really supernatural. I saw a bunch of supernatural stuff this weekend.
That's where we were going. Good job, bud.
So check this out.
Uh-oh. I thought it was horror stuff or supernatural. Oh, wait. I guess that's considered the same thing, right?
I went to my first horror convention.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been, so I can call it a con now.
Nice.
So a horror con. You and I have been to a Comic Con together. But I went this past Saturday with my brother-in-law, Chris. You know Chris. He's a Carl Urban, by the way. Carl Urban.
He's who beat me and knocked me out of the fantasy football league last year.
Yes, Chris beat you in the last match of fantasy football. He is the reigning champion. So my brother-in-law, we went to Horrorhound. He loves horror movies, super into it. I like horror movies. I watched them growing up all the time. But
do we want to go ahead and...
I fell off.
I mean, we can come back to this. Do we want to go ahead because we did say fantasy football? Well, we can touch on it later.
We'll come back to that.
We did discuss with people that there was a big match last week that we haven't talked about.
Let me talk about happy stuff before I talk about that.
King in the castle.
So I went to Sharonville, Ohio for Horrorhound. So this is a
Sunday.
Well, I went on Saturday. You gotta do it 3 times.
Day before Sunday. Saturday.
That's all I want.
It's like Beetlejuice. Does it appear?
Yes, I wish it would.
Saturday.
I went up to Sharonville.
No, that makes my weekend shorter. Sorry.
And went up to Sharonville's convention center, which is where they had Horrorhound. Now, it was a combination of things. Now, here's the thing.
Yep.
What I noticed, like, remember when we went to Comic-Con a few years ago, and the theme, there was a ton of Power Rangers. That was like the theme that year. Is they had a bunch of Power Ranger related stuff. Remember, they had like a wall.
Yeah.
The entire wall of the convention center was just all the Power Ranger people.
They had a few of them there. Yeah.
Yeah. This one was really focused on Friday the 13th movies.
Okay.
The movie Lisa Frankenstein and Abigail that just came out. I saw both of them because I saw them with my daughter. Both are actually pretty good.
How many people played Jason Voorhees? Is it the same guy in every one?
No, there's been multiple. Kane Hodder, I believe Kane Hodder was the original.
Gotcha.
Here's the funny thing. No, he wasn't the first one. Kane Hodder, I believe, is the one after like 3 that everybody remembers from like when the movies really started kicking off. But the first Jason is actually in a punk band called First Jason.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the
that's
the whole gimmick of the band is that he's the first Jason.
But
then I think Kane Hodder, is the one that we all he was in all those scenes when we think of like Jason in those movies. But this one was really focused on did I say Friday the 13th? Because this one was focused on Nightmare on Elm Street.
Gotcha.
If I said Friday the 13th, I said the wrong movie.
That's a big difference.
That's
Coke and Pepsi, bud.
Like Robert Englund was there, and then at one point there was an entire hallway where if you wanted to, you could meet like the girls from the majority of these Friday the 13th movies. So they were mostly all there.
Would you like to see that they're still alive? Here's all the girls that were murdered.
It's weird because like before I went, I kept looking at the guest list or like who the guests were because I'm like, oh, sometimes they add pro wrestlers. I'm like, oh, maybe Kevin Nash will get added or something. I'm like thinking, oh, the wrestlers are going to add it. So like, I had become semi familiar with the names and the photos associated with some of these people from these movies, even though I wasn't that familiar with who they were, just because I had been to the website.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: walking down that aisleway and then seeing the picture from 1970 whatever,
yeah,
1980 whatever.
They always like to use the younger promo shots. I feel so bad.
And then I look down and I'm like, oh,
it's hard.
Oh, but
the rise and fall of the actor and actress.
I will say they had a few wrestler. Other non-horror movie and TV guests. They had. Have you ever watched My Name Is Earl?
Yeah.
So Jason Lee was there. He was also there.
Awesome.
Jason Mewes was there. Kevin Smith was there the day before I went, so I wasn't there the day Kevin Smith was there.
This was a huge convention. I mean, Robert Englund, Jason Mewes, Kevin Smith, Brandon Lee. Yeah.
Brandon Lee.
Not Jason Brandon Lee. Jason Lee.
That would have been wild. They're just gonna prop his corpse up in the corner.
Oh fuck!
Just paint him up like the new Crow. That's how you insult it. That's the most insulting movie thing they ever do. They just take the corpse of Brandon Lee, prop it up, and paint it up like the new Crow.
Oh god, they've already pissed on the Crow. Like I won't watch it. I don't care. I don't care.
Did you ever watch the second one, City of Angels? Not bad. Give it a shot.
Really?
I won't. I've seen all of them. 3 is okay. 3 is like eh.
How many are there?
There's like 5.
It's unnecessary.
Well, I know. Okay, I take that back. There's 4 for sure. There's the first one with Brandon Lee that we all know. There's the second one, City of Angels, that takes place in Los Angeles, and it's more. This one, you kind of more really see him ride a motorcycle more. He's kind of more like a biker kind of Crow character. The third one, he's an ex-cop.
Biker Crow. It's like Biker Taker. It's his evolution.
No, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Every movie, it's a different Crow. The third one, he's an ex-cop, I believe, who get killed and then comes back. And the fourth one was Eddie Furlong. If you remember Eddie Furlong.
You watch too many movies because after the 4th sequel of every movie, it's always Eddie Furlong. I don't know if you're aware of that, but it doesn't matter what the movie is. If they do 4 of them in the 5th movie, it's going to be Edward Furlong, or it's going to be The Miz.
What was that line from the Dark Knight? That line from the Dark Knight. It was you either die with an Oscar or you live long enough to see Eddie Furlong join your franchise.
Join your movie. Oh, you were the kid in Terminator, right? The first and second are the only good ones, is what Bob says. Okay, is the second one the City of Angels?
I'll 100% vouch for the Crow, City of Angels. Like, it's not the Crow. It doesn't stack up to the Crow, but it's a pretty good movie. It's a pretty good comic book action movie. It's a lot of fun. So back to the Horrorhound thing. There was the all of the guests, but what really happened there is I spent a lot of money, dude.
What did you get?
Well, like
is
I
it
said,
just pictures and autograph? Are these experiences where you?
No, I didn't buy any of that.
A lady who was killed by Jason Voorhees.
I didn't buy experiences with people. I didn't buy autographs from people. Because the other half of it was vendors. Like you could buy like horror merch, T-shirts.
You have it next records. To you, whatever it is, don't you?
I have a bunch of stuff.
Oh my god.
I got a bunch of stuff for my daughter. Because like I said, the Lisa Frankenstein movie, where it's like a teenage horror movie about a girl who like is a Dr. Frankenstein. She makes a boyfriend by taking body parts from people. Dude, it was right up her alley. It's got the kid from Riverdale who plays Jughead in the new Riverdale show.
I don't know anything about Riverdale. I know
people say it's good.
I know of a Family Guy episode that makes fun of Riverdale that makes me laugh a lot, and I know that they just keep singing a song that goes, "A sexy show, a sexy show for teens."
It is a lot of teenagers banging. There's a lot of like high school romance. It's like weird, but so the Lisa Frankenstein movie was there. So I got her a T-shirt of that because they had this like company that had like these really cool like neon print shirts and it was really cool and modern.
Oh,
And I
nice.
also got her like a poster print. And this is what's funny.
Uh-oh.
So there was a company selling all kinds. There's all kinds of things. There's also a mask festival downstairs. Tom Savini was there. You know Tom Savini, the horror movie guy who was in like a
Oh,
ton
yeah,
of,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, he was
You mean
there.
like a horror mask festival, or
Yes,
like a Eyes
yes.
Wide Shut mask
No,
festival,
no, no,
or
no,
oh,
not
okay,
not like a close your eyes, open your mouth mask. No, this
okay,
is
thank
like
God.
you want to like there was a gigantic creature from the Black Lagoon, and then there was
Ooh,
like horror masks and like here's how to make
that might be my
masks.
favorite black and white horror movie because I
Really?
remember we had it on video, and the creature from the Black Lagoon outfit for the time, it was really good. Whatever they did for that, did you watch the original?
Oh man, I've
Have you
seen
ever
all of
seen it?
those movies.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The original black and white creature from the Black Lagoon. That dude was creepy.
yeah, yeah.
All right,
So while I was
especially the one
there,
in Monster Squad as well.
there was so much Monster Squad stuff there. There was posters, T-shirts,
Dude,
hoodies,
are you shitting
all
me?
kinds of shit. Dude, you need to go to one of these things sometime.
I wanted to be in the Monster Squad when I
So
was
I
like, I mean,
got
who didn't though?
these
Like,
pennants.
yeah, penance.
I got one for my daughter because she
Yeah.
loves Home Alone.
Okay. Fuller, go easy on the Pepsi.
This is fantastic.
Oh my God.
So for my wife,
Okay. The Sanderson sisters. Nice.
and how much
Who
I
does a pennant company anymore? What a cool idea. Are they
right?
like felt? Like
Oh yeah,
plastic?
they're
Yeah.
quality. They're quality ones. And this one
Nice.
you might how much I think you should leave have you seen?
A lot of it. I skip. This is gonna work. Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
got
yeah.
to work. It's too
Gotta work.
good.
It's too good not to work.
It's just too
Oh,
good.
oh
I'm gonna
man.
kill you, driving critter. They want to kill me.
Isn't one of our buddies in the league the Covington Crooners?
Yes, one of the teams is the
Yeah.
Covington Crooners, and my team is the Sloppy Steaks.
Yeah.
So the Sloppy Steaks this week took on FC American Football. It was
They did. They
you
did.
versus I in fantasy football. It was week 2 of the
Let's
league.
be honest. It was you versus Alvin Kamara. Alvin
So
Kamara went off.
yeah,
4, I think. Yeah. I mean, he saved me. A lot of help. Jalen Hurts wasn't bad. He's all I needed on Monday night. Where are you most disappointed?
Travis Kelce,
Yeah.
1,000% Travis Kelce, and I think
I was disappointed when you drafted him myself.
hey. The rest of my team, the rest of my drafts, I'm actually very happy with. I've had some people show up. Tony
You can
Pollard
get
is a
into your
stud.
beer in a second. I'm going to go ahead and pop this peach high noon because
Pop
honestly,
yours.
it's the same thing I did last week. I hate to say that, but it's delicious. I'm taking it easy. I'll get some new shit next week.
No,
We'll
you're
talk
good.
about it.
But I would say the biggest disappointment performance-wise was Travis Kelce. I think this is, I hate to say this is probably my last week putting faith in him. If he doesn't produce some points this week, he's probably going.
I feel like any day is
the way of
Taylor
the way
Swift's
of the
last day
dodo.
of putting faith in him too.
I think Joe Burrow is due for some points, but Tony Pollard's been my stud. That's
Yeah.
really been my points getter. I'm bouncing around with some other players. I've got Yoshavas. I've got that Alec Pierce for the Colts.
Okay,
Who's
I'm
the
not
guy?
that familiar.
He did like 15 one week and 21 points the next week. Like he's apparently the Richardson's main weapon over there. So we'll see what he does moving forward. But you won 119.72 to 108.02. I would say it was
When we were-
competitive up until about Sunday after about.
We
it was
were
still
watching, and
competitive
the
in Sunday
projections
evening.
were jumping. The projections just kept jumping back and forth, and it was funny because the messages pretty much back and forth were me about Kamara or you about Kamara, and then you would send me just Yoshi.
Yeah. It was competitive until about like right before the Sunday night game started, and about that time it really started leaning your way. I remember being up in points but projected to lose at the end of the Sunday night game, and really it all came down to Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
What kind of performance was Jalen Hurts going to have on the Monday night
Because
game?
I was technically done or down points going into
Yes.
that game, but Jalen
He
Hurts
had
had
to
to
hit
only
his
do
projected
yeah,
21 points for you to beat me.
yeah, and
Well,
he
he was
did.
projected for 21, and he went for 23.82.
Yeah.
So he definitely went
Ba-da-ba-da.
off. And
So
congratulations, you are now 1-1,
it
and
feels
I
good.
am 0-2.
It's
Just
not
like the
good, bud.
Bengals, baby. I'm gonna ride it. It's all right. We're still starting. It's only 2 games in.
How are you feeling about your game next week? I see. I'm feeling still kind of confident because I still have Christian McCaffrey. He's gonna come back at some point. He's gonna drop points, and then I want people to be afraid that combination of Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey again. Ooh.
Like I
Be
said,
ready.
I feel good about most of my players this week. I'm really figuring out my tight end situation.
I'm trying to as well. I got my new tight end playing tonight, actually.
I
Uh, Hunter Henry, I think is his name.
Here's the thing I'll say. I've got Joe Burrow. I've got
Yes.
Travis Kelce.
Yes.
If my season doesn't pick up, I might start looking into some major, like, some people might have to go so I can start getting some wide receiving and some running backs put together. So
I got lots of extra wide receivers. We could talk about it.
holla at your boy.
I also dropped Blake Corum. I know you were happy. You were told me it was a good pick when I got him. He's out there. Feel free to grab him if you want. I don't have
I'm
faith
okay
that he's
with
going
him
to be a
now.
good running. I don't have faith that he's going to be a good running back until about 2 or 3 years in. He needs to find the right system for him. He needs to find the trust to be a lead running back. He's not NFL ready yet, I don't think. I don't know. Like he's an awesome college running back. Like that dude is insane out of those like college formations and stuff like that. I just don't know how well he's going to train. I ended up dropping him. I don't make a lot of moves, but I dropped him to get a tight end in Hunter Henry for the Patriots that just to at least cover until Njoku for Cleveland comes back, who's now questionable, but we'll see. He got hurt for me in that first game, but this week I'm right now projected to lose by like 4 or 5 points, which is almost an even matchup at this point. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
taking
but
on
say under 10 is still
it
under a
could
10
go
point
anyway.
difference can go either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're drinking a High Noon.
Yes, I am.
My beer has a story. A little
Oh,
bit.
we've got a story for the beer.
When I went to this Comic-Con,
Yep.
it was in Sharonville, Ohio, and
Yep.
my brother-in-law knows me very well, and part of that was like, hey man, there's a brewery right across the street from the convention center we can go to and check out. Which, for me, I'm in. I love it. Anytime I can go check out a brewery I haven't been to. It actually is this brewery right here. Third Eye Brewing Company in Sharonville, Ohio. And here's what was cool. I was glad I went that day.
Third Eye Brewing should do a collaboration with Second Sight Distilling.
That would actually be really good. You could call it like the Octoclops or something
Second
like that.
Eye or Third Sight.
Something clops, because multiple eyes.
Something with the eyes. Yeah.
Like 2 and 3, like 5. The 5 is the Centaclops. Centaclops.
The human Centaclops.
Human Centaclops. They just rub their eyes on each other's buttholes.
Oh
The
God!
human
What's your
Centaclops.
beer? Before you go further, no,
never been this way before.
Oh my God! What
never looked like this. Human Centaclops.
human Centaclops?
So,
you gave me pink eye.
Speaking of a human Centaclops, this beer is a horror because part of what they were doing.
This
they
beer
actually,
is
HORROR.
Okay, thank you.
Horror.
I really heard this beer is a horror.
That's what I thought you heard. So this beer is
100%.
actually a special edition that they made specifically for Horrorhound. This is Third Eye Brewing Company's Never Sleep Again.
Oh, that looks great.
Friday the 13th.
Very Friday the 13th.
Yeah, this is a coffee cream
They made
ale.
a beer for the convention.
They
Was
made
it
a special beer.
convention?
Yeah, you could buy it at the convention, walk around with it. They had it at all the booths. When you went to the
Very
brewery,
cool.
they had it on draft, and you can buy 4 packs to go.
That's what I really like about breweries and stuff is when they find those unique collaborations where it's like, okay, good idea. That's awesome. I'm sick of the same things. And when you see something like that, how cool. Like you're a brewery across from that place. How smart is that? Like
Take
let's
advantage
do
of it.
a collab. That's a fantastic pour, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Hold
Master
that
of the
up.
pour.
Hold
Master
that
in the
up.
pour there.
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty.
Wonderful head. This is a coffee cream ale. Never
I
sleep
did
again.
not. When you said it's a coffee cream ale and you showed me that can, I didn't expect it to be as light as what you just poured out.
This is, what's the percentage on this?
I'm gonna guess 5.2.
Oh, did they not put it on? Oh, 5.
5. Okay.
Just a straight 5. That's the coffee cream ale. Never sleep again. Yeah, that's
I never would have
color.
expected how light that would have been. When you showed me the can and you said coffee cream ale, I was expecting something almost like a tan or a red ale. Drink light? Really?
I'm gonna save you one of these, bub.
Yeah?
Oh, that's yummy.
Do you think this is something they'll have more often, or it was just special for that event?
I would wonder if they have a coffee cream ale already that is like a year round, and maybe they just repackaged it.
I may or may not have worked for some breweries that did that same thing, where it's like, well, we already have this beer. Let's call it this when we put it in this can.
There's no reason to waste bad beer recipes.
No, not at all.
Not at all. But that is fucking fantastic.
Do you get more? What do you get? Coffee? You get cream? Or you get more? Is it cappuccino? Is it a?
No. It's, you ever had one of those? Well, you don't drink a lot of coffee.
Not a lot.
It reminds me of like a light blonde roast. Like, it's very coffee scented, but it's so light tasting that it's almost like, imagine the lightest red ale you could get, taste wise. Like, it's got body, but it's not heavy, if that makes sense.
That used to be a dating strategy of mine.
You got body, but it's not heavy. Hey girl, you got body, but it's not heavy.
I don't know. I'm just an idiot. Yes, Bob says that T will be back on Monday. That is good for me because I'm hurting. My lineup is really hurt. T. Higgins, we're back to fantasy, I know, but T. Higgins hurt. Njoku, my tight end, hurt. Christian McCaffrey, my running back, hurt. My number one running back, my number one wide receiver, and my number one tight end all hurt. And that's not a great way to start your season in the first 2 weeks. How did you feel watching that Bengals defense play, knowing that you had them on the bench? I saw that happening because I gave you some shit about being a homer, and I felt like that's the Cincinnati that you were like, I'm going to leave them on the bench.
They still didn't outperform the Chargers, D.
Oh, they did.
Who I put in.
Oh, they didn't.
I was still glad with what I did.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of horror movies and shows and Horrorhound or whatever. No, I'm just kidding. You said I could have sworn you said horror. Anyway, let's see. Did you just text me that?
So I remember it for the episode title. That's what I'm going to use as the title.
I'm not good at keeping things. Okay, anyway.
If I don't type it out and write it down, I'm going to forget it. So I had to type, hey, girl, you got body. But I just realized I sent you a text that just says, hey, girl, you got body, but it ain't heavy. To you, of all people.
You did. With no other. You did say it in quotes, like you really wanted me to know that someone said it about me. But did you... Here's what kind of... To go out, I kind of wanted to talk about the Emmys. The Emmys are a big thing. We might as well hit real news for people, right?
I watch them.
You watch them. That's what blows my mind.
Really?
Let's pull the curtain back on what I thought today. If you want to talk about pulling curtains back.
Yeah.
I said to you, hey, I found this article. Here's some Emmy winners. I find two of the shows very interesting because one is something I've talked about. One is something you told me about that I wanted to know about. But when you replied to me that you watched the Emmy, who watches?
When's the last time you watched the Emmys?
Who watches those shows anymore? They're just 4 and 5 hours of. So it's a vanity project. You want to thank the same people we know.
Oh yeah, it's not about every single award. During the awards is when I'm like kind of not paying attention, scrolling on my phone, doing other things, typing up stuff for this podcast, things like that. But really, you watch for a few of the acceptance speeches of the people you like, and the host monologues and all the in-between stuff.
Who was the host of the Emmys?
Eugene Levy and Dan Levy.
Oh wow.
They were great.
Okay, that
They
I
did
bet
a
that was
lot of
fantastic.
father son
Eugene Levy
jokes.
isn't gonna fuck anything up.
He
He's
kept playing the out of touch dad,
fantastic.
and like Dan
Yeah.
Levy kept playing kind of like trying to keep him in check and trying to
You
get
know
him up to
what?
speed
I
on things. It was
almost would have watched
fantastic.
the Emmys knowing it was them because I'm an absolute huge fan of everything Christopher Guest has ever done,
Right.
and Eugene Levy has been a big part of all of that.
Yeah.
But so I was looking over the list of the winners because that's what I feel most people do is just check it out the next day or find out. And I'm noticing a show that you talked about to me and a show that I love. Let me just go through this real quick. I'm going to
Yeah.
read you this list. Best drama, Shogun. Best actress in a drama, Anna Sawal from Shogun. Actor in a drama, Sonata from Shogun. We'll just go with the shows now. Supporting actress, The Crown. Then the Morning
I
Show.
believe the woman that won supporting actress for The Crown, also the character, I believe she's playing Princess
Elizabeth
Diana.
Debicki.
She's
She
playing
is.
Princess Diana,
I believe so.
which
Yes.
is wild to think about.
Best supporting actress in a drama series. Best actor was somebody from The Morning Show. Best guest actor was in Shogun. Best guest actress was in Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Best comedy series, Hacks. I haven't seen that.
Haven't seen it.
But here's where we start to get into another show. Best actor in a comedy series, Jeremy Allen White from The Bear.
Yes.
I've never seen The Bear. Is it about the food service industry? Because I feel like I would like it if it's about food service. I don't know.
You'll love it for a lot of reasons. And I'm not
Yeah.
just going to say you'll like it.
Let me go through the rest of
You'll
this
love
real
it.
quick.
Go ahead.
Hacks, then The Bear again for supporting actor. The Bear again for supporting actress.
Eben Moss,
Eben Moss Bacharach.
He's playing the Thing in the Fantastic Four.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Best supporting actress was The Bear. Best guest actor in a comedy series, Barenthal in The Bear. Best guest actress in a comedy series, Jamie Lee Curtis in The Bear.
Yep.
And then there's a few things for Baby Reindeer, True Detective, Fargo, Baby Reindeer, Shogun, The Bear. Best directing for a comedy series and best directing for a drama. Basically, The Bear wiped up in the comedy, and Shogun wiped up in the drama.
And here's the thing. It's fascinating that it wiped up in comedy because that show is hilarious. It's hilarious. There are hilarious moments in that show.
Well, then why is it shocking?
But also, that show is presented to the viewer as if you're always working the busiest shift at a restaurant.
Oh, really?
That show exemplifies the pressure cooker of working in the service industry and living a life of a service industry worker.
Oh God!
Jeremy Allen White is a chef who has traveled the world, and in the beginning of season 1 is taken over his brother's like Italian beef sandwich shop. It's like an old school Italian beef sandwich restaurant. But he's a fancy chef he's learned all over the world, and now he's come back home. You learn about him. You learn about his brother. His sister.
He's basically better than what he's doing.
No, he has a lot of problems. He's just as he is. Every character is so perfectly flawed and wonderfully real. He's not Anthony Bourdain. He's every dude you've ever worked with at a restaurant, who traveled all over the world and now works at some place in XYZ Kentucky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the potential's there. But you watch that evolution. He is great, but you gotta watch it. His cousin is Eben Moss Barrack's character, who is his journey as a character brought tears to my eyes. I gotta check this out. His character arc is fantastic.
I'll tell you what, FX as a network does not mess around. They put out fantastic shows. I mean, everything from, also up in the comedy category, who he beat for the actor category is someone who I thought would have won it, but I haven't seen The Bear, so I can't fairly judge. But Matthew Barry, who plays Laszlo in What We Do in the Shadows, is absolutely hilarious.
I've never seen that show.
Oh my God!
I'll say this:
I've gotten my parents hooked on it, and
I'm sure it's great. It's great.
Absolutely hilarious.
Did you see the movie? It can't compare. I've never seen it. Never seen anything to do with it. I know what that show is. I understand kind of what it's about. I understand the kind of tongue-in-cheek vampire kind of thing that's going on with it, but I haven't ever watched any of it.
You should give it a chance because it evolved.
You should give the bear a chance.
Oh, I'm gonna give the bear.
I'm sorry.
100%.
The Bear
I'm going
is
to.
a revelation of a show. The Bear.
I will watch The Bear. Because
There are
I'm
these
not
certain
a person who's
episodes.
going to ignore your recommendations. Are you going to give some episodes of What We Do in the Shadows a chance?
I will. I can tell that's a show I'm probably going to watch by myself.
Give me 2 episodes. Yeah, probably. It depends.
That's probably an all-me show.
No, I'm excited. I'm curious to watch The Bear. I'll have to check that out. That's something for everybody to watch going forward. Go watch The Bear. I haven't seen it. Also, go watch Shogun if you want a good drama. My lord, it's phenomenal. Looking forward to more of that. I'm looking forward to this. Oh, do we have shots to do?
Ooh, you want to do a shot? Close her out.
I left my shot bottles back there too. I am an
All right,
idiot.
go get your shot bottles. You're so unprepared.
They're right behind the curtain. I could literally reach through.
Well, then go, Wizard of Oz.
Ooh.
Pay no attention to that asshole behind the curtain.
Wait.
It's like a magic show without any kind of interesting stuff and interesting things happening.
I'm a disaster. I'm sorry.
It's like hanging out with the amazing Kreskin.
What's that?
What?
What'd you say?
It's like you popped out from behind a curtain like David Bland. Look at you.
Yes, exactly, David Bland. What do I have here? Oh man, I have a couple things I do not want to shoot.
I don't give you a choice this week. I have one thing, and that's what's happening.
You know what? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take one of these that I'm not that curious. I've never had. I'm not curious. I'm curious about. I've never had it. We're going to try it, and it kind of goes with something you had earlier. So you go ahead and tell me about yours.
Well, we're just going with the classic. Straight up bourbon.
Jim Beam.
Jim Beam, baby. What do you got?
I've got whiskey with natural flavor and caramel color.
Coffee.
Cookies and cream.
Cookies
This is called Absolutely No Bullshot.
Absolutely no bull. Hold on. Hold that logo up to the camera. The BS is... Oh, wow. Okay. Absolutely no bullshot. Okay.
Yep. I'm testing my autofocus right now just for my own fun. Where's my close range? It's about there. Yep, it's about there. Okay, anyway, let me see. What does it smell like? The little cracking of the label. Ooh. It reminds me of like a chocolate candy. Yours is Jim Beam.
Smells like whiskey. All right. Cheers.
All right. Cheers, my friend.
All right.
Oh.
Internet.
That was a whole lot more coffee for me than I would have liked.
We're going to close it out of here. Whew. That was a hefty shot.
Cheers. Wow.
Wow. Chase that with some coffee beer.
Chasing it with a peach seltzer.
Jets are beating the Patriots 14-0. Aaron Rodgers is thrown for 135 yards and 1 touchdown.
I have one bet riding right now out in the world, and
Jacoby
that bet
Brissett
is...
has only thrown for 16 yards.
I have one bet riding in the world right now, and that bet is tonight's game, the over of 38.5.
You might hit that because we're talking.
Are we in the first or second? Second? Okay.
We can still get there.
Yeah. We need the over to hit tonight. We need a high-scoring game. Let's go. Over.
So that's the problem is there haven't been a lot of rushing yards. 34 for the Jets, only 4 for the Patriots. And only 48 receiving for the Jets, 9 for the Patriots. So seems like a little bit of a low game, but it should pick up right now. I've been using this function for Thursday Night Football on Prime where it'll give you the stats right next to the broadcast as it's happening.
Oh,
and it'll
nice.
show you all the player stats. It's fantastic. But we did our shot. We did our show. It's a great episode. Make sure you tune in next week. Check this out on Apple Podcasts or Spotify podcasts. Make sure you subscribe at
Found us on Spotify
YouTube
today.
or Twitch. Make sure you follow on Instagram at 2dudeswearinghats, TikTok at 2dudeswearinghats. I'm Mike. He's Brendon. This has been 2 Dudes Wearing Hats. Make sure you use the hashtag 2DWH if you want to post or anything you want to send to us. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.